welcome back to watching Closing Trades. Another set of numbers, India info line, good set of numbers coming in. Top line increase of about 11% on a quarter-on-quarter basis and 18% on a year-on-year basis. We've got the management now joining us. Mr. R. Venkatraman, the ED of the company, joins us on the show to throw some more light on the kind of numbers that they've posted this time around. Mr. Venkatraman, thanks so very much for joining us. Not a bad quarter. What would you say would be the drivers this time around for you?
If you look at our numbers for this quarter, we had seen a growth on a sequential basis on the top line. But on the bottom line, although we have seen a sequential growth on a quarter-on-quarter basis, but we are seeing some kind of decline happening on a year-on-year basis. The main reason has been is that we have seen some kind of decline happening in the broking income that was partially offset by this increase in the in our NBFC and financing business. And if you see our broking business, what we have seen is that although we have seen year-on-year growth happening in terms of total volumes, but there has been a change in the business mix primarily because of a higher share of derivatives which has a lower yield, just thereby bringing down the effective yield.
Mr. Venkatraman, you just made a point about volumes. How much of an uptick have you seen this time around, and is it good enough to carry forward into the next few quarters as well? Do you see the pickup happening going forward as well?
If you see the exchange, if you see our volumes, definitely this quarter we have seen increase in volumes, and towards the later part of the second quarter we are seeing some kind of increased interest happening in the retail segment, and all media talk about the increased activity on the FI segment. So overall, the thing definitely looks good, and if this momentum continues, the entire brokerage industry as a pack should see a better set of numbers.
What is the market share then that you currently enjoy in this particular quarter, and also cash market volumes have picked up from the last quarter onwards for not just you but the entire brokerage fraternity. What have been the broking yields that you've enjoyed in the second quarter, and do you see higher cash market volumes from here onwards as well?
See, if you look at our market share, we are basically having roughly about 3.9% market share at the end of the quarter, and which is virtually unchanged because in the previous quarter we are roughly at about 4, so 0.1% decline. And to just give you a brief idea of how the exchange volumes have changed, I think 4-5 quarters ago the relative share of cash versus F&O was roughly about 30% happening in cash and approximately 70% happening in the derivatives. And now the market volumes have been further skewed in terms of derivatives. So we are seeing a higher share of derivatives, and I think roughly about 90% of the trade happens in the derivative segment and only 10% happening in the cash. So because of this relative change in business mix, we are seeing some kind of yield compression taking place. Obviously what we are seeing is that some increased activity happening in the cash segment, as I was mentioning earlier, because of increased retail participation as well as higher interest in terms of the foreign institutional investors. So now we have seen a tremendous success which we have seen in the Coal India IPO. So if this trend continues, then obviously we will see some kind of increased interest happening in the cash segment also.
Mr. Venkatraman, afternoon, Neeraj here. If indeed that is going to be the case, and if indeed the broking revenues might be under pressure, what about the other ancillary businesses? Let's talk about the NBFC side, the like investment banking, so on and so forth. How are these verticals contributing? How are they contributed in the quarter, and how would they contribute going ahead?
If you see our numbers, then we have seen increase in our financing and investment income also, and we have the NBFC book now is about 2.5 billion, so which has grown on a sequential quarter-on-quarter basis. So this is one segment which will continue to grow in the days to come. Investment banking, on the other hand, is a lumpy kind of thing. So although we have a healthy deal pipeline, in the last quarter we just closed one transaction. So and investment banking being lumpy in its by nature itself, so hopefully we should see increased growth happening in this segment also in the days to come.
Mr. Venkatraman, you were talking about the NBFC side picking up. Could you just give us a sense of exactly where you're going to focus on in terms of which space you're going to focus on, the lending side of it, and also investment banking? Could you give us how strong? Could you give us a number or a quantum in terms of your deal pipeline?
On the first I'll answer a question on the investment banking side. We are working a number of transactions. Because of client confidentiality issues, it's not proper for me to share that. Needless to say, we have a healthy deal pipeline and we continue to invest in this space. And coming to a question on the NBFC space, if you look at the way we have grown this business, we have discontinued the unsecured personal lending business that we discontinued some time ago. So we are just running down this book. We are focused on the asset-based lending, and within that also we have two broad segments, which is the capital markets link, which is loan against shares, margin funding, promoter funding, etc. And the other is the asset-based in terms of property-based lending, which is mortgages, home equity, loan against property, construction finance, etc. We will be continuing to focus in these two segments, and we should see growth happening in this segment.
All right, Mr. Venkatraman, let you go on that note. That's India Infoline and the second quarter numbers that they delivered. Pull up the stock price for you and show you how it's currently doing in trade. It will just come about on your screens in just a wee bit. That's India Infoline. They are talking about a healthy deal pipeline in the investment banking business. They are in any case expecting their volumes to pick up. The stock price up by about 0.5%, but that really isn't the case with the market.